Guys, online dating is completely ruining the dynamic between men and women. A few weeks ago, I went out to a college nearby where I live, and I wanted to basically just get an in-person interview with several women that go to college to essentially see what they rated themselves and what they rate me. Because I feel like in today's age, with all this online dating and social media and all these things, women a lot of times get an image of themselves in their head that just simply isn't accurate because of all these outside factors. I want to show you guys just a few clips of these interactions I had and how they turned out, what these women thought of themselves and me, to give you some perspective before I dive into this whole online dating mess that is happening. What you would basically rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, God.
You be honest.
Probably 7.5.
What would you rate me on a scale of 1 out of 10?
Honest?
Yeah, of course.
Probably 6.5.
Okay.
I just like really tall guys.
We have this girl, she tells me she's 6'2", she's clearly bigger set. She rated herself a 7.5. What would you rate yourself based on your appearance alone?
7,
What would you rate me at the same scale, 1 out of 10?
6.
Personally myself, when I was interviewing her and up close, I just got this kind of something's off about her, you know. Clearly not very attractive, but in her head, she genuinely thought she was a 7. What would you rate yourself 1 out of 10 based on your appearance?
Like a 7.
What would you rate me on a scale 1 out of 10?
A 7.
I'm not mad at any of these women for this interview or taking the time to talk to me, because what you didn't see is a lot of other women just completely didn't even give me the time to ask them these questions or to answer them. But it also just made me naturally think and realize a pattern of all the women I really interviewed and spoke to. They didn't really seem to be doing much to increase their appearance, to make the most out of the genetics they were given, and yet they still kind of have this thought in their head that they deserve the top 5% of man and won't settle for anything less. What are they looking for? What do they need from a man? Do they need him to be 6'3"? Do they all want the guy with the alpha chin? Now, it's okay for a woman to want the most handsome man possible, but where it creates a barrier is when you yourself as a woman aren't that exact thing that you're looking for. That's where we as men and women just keep drifting apart and the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now let me tell you exactly where online dating plays into this role. As men, we all probably have been on the online dating scene. I've done it before, I still do it, not very much anymore. A lot of us, we just go on Tinder or Bumble or any of these apps for a quick hookup. And the things we do to get this quick hookup is gaslight these women. It'll be this average looking girl, a 6 out of 10, 6.5, 7 on a good day, and we simply just tell them how beautiful they are even though we don't mean it, just because we're desperate in the moment. So now we're gaslighting this woman that's not very attractive, but she's doable. And as this continues to happen, of course, you're not the only one speaking to her. We're all doing the same thing, making her feel beautiful, making her feel loved, making her feel appreciated. And now her 6.5 in her own mind is slowly creeping up to a 6.8, 7.2, 7.5, and now she's an 8 out of 10, when before social media, that's just not the perception she would have had of herself. A lot of these women that us men will hook up with on the internet through online texting, we would not be seen with them in public. If we're at a park or a bar and there's people around, I'm not speaking to a lot of the women I'm texting to hook up with because I'd be embarrassed to be seen with them. And so if online dating didn't exist, we would not be sleeping with these women and giving them the validation that they're getting through online dating. We as men suffer from online dating while women benefit from it, because as we continue to online date, we're losing our natural intuition and ability to speak to a woman in the natural sense of just approaching her in public and in person and creating a genuine connection. A lot of men nowadays, they don't approach any women in public because they're not used to it anymore. They become shy, timid. I have a friend. He's a very close friend of mine. He is 25 years old now, guys. He has never slept with a woman outside of a dating app. He is 25 years old. He has slept with about 60, 70, 80 women. Every single woman has come from online dating. I've always told him that this baffles me and that without online dating, who would he be? He would be a virgin. He never approaches women in public. He doesn't know how to approach women in public because online dating took away his masculine instincts to really get what he wants in the normal sense of everyday interaction. And instead of meeting a beautiful woman that truly connects with him and they can have history together outside of a dating app, he's just stuck in his bed swiping and messaging random women. Now, I'm not talking about my friend to simply isolate him, because I've been on online dating, guys. I've done it for years now, and I've hooked up with many, many women through it. My body count is probably in the triple digits. But with that being said, I never lost myself on the way to online dating. I never got caught up in only doing online dating and losing my confidence in person. I have no problem with going up to a woman and complimenting her at the gym, at a park, anywhere, because I still think it's so important. And if I don't do that and tell myself that if I see a beautiful woman and I'm attracted to her, just to give her a nice compliment, I'll lose touch of that side of me that I love so much. The side of me that is able to just communicate with a woman. So yes, I've slept around on dating apps, but I've also hooked up with just as many women naturally without the dating apps. I go out a good bit, you know, I went to college, I've done all that, and now I'm out of college, and I still like to go out at least once a week. And the thing I've noticed and how the dynamic is changing in person now because of online dating and how it affects everyone now is that a lot of times when you go out and approach a woman at a bar or any social gathering, it has become so much harder to approach them without thinking they're just going to tell you off in a nasty way. A lot of women, as soon as a man approaches them that isn't their fairy tale, they'll just look at you nasty, or they'll say no. You know, we've seen it happen so much, and I've seen it myself happen a lot. And the reason that is straight back to online dating. There are no consequences for online dating. So as soon as a man gets rejected by a woman, what do? They say the nastiest things to that woman to try and get back that dynamic of they gaslit them and now they didn't get what they wanted, so they want to bring them down even more. All that does is make women feel like they can be nasty back to you, and they don't keep it in just online dating because that shit follows them to the real world, and now women are nasty to men. All of this is creating so much disproportion between men and women, and what that leads to is a reproduction issue. Women overvalue themselves now, and the top 50% of women want the top 10% of the man, but that top 10% of the man is not going to settle with that woman. So it leaves an unbalanced variable because women will only settle with men who won't want more than them than a quick hookup. Always remember that being self-aware is the most important trait to have. So whether you want to have self-love for yourself and self-confidence, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone has unique things that make them beautiful. But also understand who you are and who you attract. Because if you think you attract something that is just not going to happen because you're just not that person, it's going to create you being lonely. As men, all I ask from you is to take a step back from online dating and see if you can still have that natural, authentic interaction with a woman in person. Because that is the most effective way for two people to really find love and to create a future for not just themselves, but also their children. If you guys resonate with my words and my ideas, let me know down below what you think. If you agree, disagree, talk to me.